Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Allie, and I'm here at Heart and Soul Connected. And today I want to talk a little bit about the state of flow. Um, have you ever had a magical moment where you're completely absorbed in what it is you're doing, and everything else just sort of fades away? That's what we call flow, a flow state. Athletes talk about it a lot, that when they have perfected their game and they're in the zone, that it just seems to work for them and it flows. And there are other days when it doesn't. So it isn't something you can maintain completely all the time, but you can aspire to this. And I'll never forget the book called Flow by a wonderful professor, mihalyi from the University of Illinois in Chicago. And he describes the state and has written several books on it, as well as creativity, and is a worthy read if you're interested in that. He was a psychologist, and he dedicated his life to understanding the concept of happiness. And he said this state of complete absorption and engagement in an activity is called flow. I think we all know how that works. We can be in an activity and time can go very, very slowly. It can go very, very fast, but we don't care. It's like we don't care. We're absorbed. We're enjoying it. We're really free from any expectations. His work has had a lasting effect on positive psychology. And, you know, the best way to describe it is, you know what it's like. It's probably always been there. You sit down to work on a project and suddenly your phone is buzzing or you worry about that thing you have to do later. But before you know it, you're out of the zone and back into reality. Distractions, anxiety, and other things are just a few of the common challenges that prevent us from staying in the flow state, and but can also bring us back to the flow state when we're ready. Modern society's predilection for productivity, efficiency, and effective products and projects seem to hinder our pursuit of happiness. We're often pushed to achieve more, do more, leaving us feeling very drained and exhausted. And even if you're retired and you aren't working a job or you're not in the job field anymore, there are things that need to be done. And some of those things are just simply craft activities that you would like to do that is an enjoyable thing for you. But it's finding that flow where you can really be uninterrupted and you can continue in that wonderful state of being. We have so much noise around us. It's really hard to cut out the noise. We hear cars and horns and traffic and crying and screaming and all kinds of fireworks, all those things, dogs barking, kids playing. It's hard to hear our own thoughts many times. And the constant connectedness of modern life can also make it really challenging because we're either checking our emails, we're looking at our texts, we have to call somebody, we have to have the groceries done on a certain day, we have to follow through on all of these things, that it's really difficult at times in order to do that. It challenges us. We're also pushed to achieve more, and the relentless drive for success can lead us to burnout and decreased job satisfaction. Many of us are searching for a way to break free from this cycle and find true fulfillment. The constant connectedness of modern life can also make it difficult for us to relax. We are always on all the time and always available. And so I make it a point to shut off my my phone unless I'm ready to be prepared to answer it. And I can return calls very easily and or text. I don't especially want it on at night. I can't deal with that. That's really difficult. Our minds are constantly racing, making it difficult for us to unwind and recharge. And this can create, circumstances for us to have challenges with our mental health. or our stress levels. So the concept of flow is characterized by a heightened state of focus or concentration. When you're in the flow, you're fully engaged in the moment, in the activity, and your skills match the challenge you face. Time seems to fly when we're completely absorbed, and the state of being is described as sometimes being in the zone. Csiksentmihayli's research has shown that flow can be experienced in a wide range of activities, as I've mentioned prior. From sports and games to art and music, he found that people from all walks of life can experience flow, regardless of their background or their circumstances. What's more, flow is not limited to exceptional talents or abilities. It's acceptable to anybody who wants to immerse themselves in an activity. One powerful insight that Csiksentmihayli had found was that flow can be a transformative experience. And I've experienced that myself, where something just, you don't have to push to make it happen. You let it go and you simply live in that Zen moment, in that mindful moment, and allow for this flow state to wash over you without trying, which is hard. He shared the story of a man who was struggling with depression and found solace in playing chess. Through this activity, he was able to experience flow and find a sense of purpose for himself. The anecdote highlights the potential of flow to bring in joy and fulfillment. His secret lies in this, and by understanding how to cultivate it, we can experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. Very important. Sometimes we have lack of motivation, and this can hijack our state of flow. And if you're not interested in what you're doing, it's very, very hard to get into that flow state. You might be going through the motions, but you're not really engaged in it. And then there are the distractions that I've mentioned earlier, which can command our attention. Environmental factors also can command our attention. If your workspace isn't set up to promote focus, then you're going to have a harder time to get into the flow. If you're working in a noisy or cluttered space, it's hard to concentrate. And I can say that it really does help to have your area completely free of those distractions, whether they be piles of paper, letters that need to be opened, bills that need to be paid, etc. So what triggers can help us to get into this state? I'm sure you'd like to know, because who wouldn't want to be in the flow? Setting clear goals is essential for you. When you know exactly what you need to do, you can focus on it without any mental resistance. I actually make myself start doing something and say to myself, for instance, grading. I say I'm only going to grade a quarter or a half of these papers. And once I get in the flow and I get going and I'm reading and writing and responding, and I'm done. I'm done not only with a quarter or a half, I'm done with all of them. I had to put myself in there, though, without feeling resistance. And if I went in there and said, I got to grade 25 of them today, the resistance is there. Whereas it isn't there if I set myself a shorter goal or a smaller goal. Optimal challenge levels are also crucial. If the task is too easy, you'll get bored. And if it's too hard, you'll also have a harder time concentrating and focusing on getting this material done. One time during a writing project, when I was on a deadline, I just really dove into it like I do with my grading. And I set myself certain times of the day where I knew I would be at peak performance. And I would also say to myself, I have to write 50 pages, but I don't have to write 50 pages today. I'm only going to write 1 page or a paragraph, something. It's procrastination that is deadly. And so we really have to try and write down our motivations, write down what needs to be done, and if need be, a way of doing that. Once you start doing that, you get into the flow. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Athletes talk about being in the zone during competitions. In fact, many of them will do affirmations and also visual creativity in their minds, that they are running fast, passing. If you're a runner, you're running fast, you're passing all the other people, and you're in the optimal zone so that you can win the race. And that could be metaphoric for any kind of race that you may or may not be in. It's like tapping into this deep well that's been inside of you forever and ever. And the key is you've already experienced this at least once, maybe many times in your life, and didn't recognize it for what it was. And you're amazed by the way it all turned out. It's not just getting into the certain mindset. It's about creative environment that supports that mindset. That's going to be very important for you. So I know many of you have said, what, has she got her Christmas tree up? No, this is my heart and soul connected tarot tree, of which I laminated cards. I have my hearts, I have my lights, and it serves me very well. When I have my lights on, I'm in the zone. I'm here with you all, and I feel great. Recapping your key triggers. You must set clear goals, find a sweet spot of challenge, create an environment that supports your focus. And also, once you've done so, celebrate that win. Write it down in your journal. Make sure that you recognize the feeling that you had when you were in that flow state and how it was easier to get whatever it was done within a timely manner and enjoy it at the same time. So, if you have had any experiences with the flow state, I would love to know about them. Let me know in the chat. I really I read everything. I read everything that you write. So let me know, and stay in the flow. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day.